All right, let's talk South Carolina Gamecocks. An under the radar team finished the season really strong last year, building a lot of momentum heading into the 2025 campaign. And there's some new Gamecocks that are already making a strong impression, making a name for themselves. This is a talented team that could be even better thanks to these freshmen. We'll break it down in just a second. But first, I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, this is the time of year where we're starting to see the freshmen show up on campus and make their first impressions on coaching staffs, whether it's their position coaches or primarily the strength and conditioning staff and just high level, right? They're going through winter workouts, getting their bodies right, getting mentally and physically prepared for spring ball, which is right around the corner. That's almost upon us. And South Carolina has a couple really talented freshmen. It was a really good class overall for the Gamecocks, but they have a number of guys that are making a great impression early on. Let's pull up this report courtesy of On3 Sports. All right, on three, Steve Wiltfong and Pete Nako spoke with sources at several schools, including Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State, and South Carolina, of course, to learn which top 2025 recruits are already turning heads. Edge, in all caps, Donovan Darden is one. His length, his athleticism, just his fluidity. He's playing linebacker for us, but when it's all said and done, he might even be an edge. Right now, he's a pretty long, fluid linebacker. He's come in and put weight on pretty fast. I don't like saying the word hybrid, but he looks the part of the new age linebacker and is a very fluid mover. And then offensively, you can choose a lot of these receivers, but wide receiver Jordan Gurdron is going to be special. He's only 17 years old. He reclassified and is an early enrollee, which by the way is just bonkers. I couldn't even imagine being a junior in high school than playing SEC football. It's a special kind of player, which I've never heard of. Gurdron has turned my eye. Look, obviously, South Carolina, great class. We talked about it a number of times, but the fact that they're getting off to such a great start, these two guys in particular, is a sign of serious momentum in Columbia. Miles, I know you've got a few thoughts on this news, but first, Carolina fans in the comment section below, of all of these freshmen in this class, and like I said, it's a good class. What's one guy you're really expecting to get off to a strong start, to be an early impact player for the Gamecocks come the 2025 regular season? Let us know who you think this early impact freshman is going to be. Put them in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on all this latest news out of Columbia?
Yeah, Nick, I think there's a lot of really good stuff going on down in Columbia. I think South Carolina looks like a promising team, but they've got a lot of good recruits. I think this team, they did a great job recruiting, but one player in particular is Jidron. I think he looks really talented, and I love that he's kind of an under radar type of player. He's a 3 star. He's from Columbia, so he's a local guy. They really did a lot of research on him, got him reclass, moved up. Like you said, 17 is pretty crazy for a guy to come out here and be able to compete in the SEC at that level. But he's that kind of player. He's already 6'2", 185. I think he looks really, really talented as well. But just for him to come in and already be impressing, but be A, kind of under the radar kind of guy, a 3 star, a local guy, B, be so young as well. I think there's something really special about this guy. I think he's about to come in and turn a lot of heads. I think we're going to see maybe not the same degree as the Jeremiah Smiths of the world that came out and did really good, but I think we're going to see a really impressive receiver come out. And South Carolina been known to have some really great receivers in the past. Talking to Alshon Jeffrey, talking Sidney Rice, been all kinds of talented players coming out of South Carolina that's been known for the receiver position. So one guy that catches my eye, one guy that I think is really special here is Jordan Getteron out of Ridgeview, Columbia, South Carolina, looking like a really talented player early on. I think this was a steal for the Gamecocks this season.
And you bring up a great point, and it's one thing that's kind of lost in the hustle and bustle is that sometimes the local kids, it's more important for them to get off to a strong start because you're just dying if you're a program, if you're South Carolina or you're any program, right? You have got to win and win big the area around you. If you start losing kids in your hometown, you're going to get just waxed, right? That just can't happen. Otherwise, you're going to start winning 3, 4 games a season if you can't recruit in the 30-mile radius of Columbia, right? That's just the reality if you're South Carolina. So one of the ways you can really hope that works in your benefit is if some local kids get off to great starts. Because if all the local kids, like the junior and seniors in high school that are considering Carolina or Clemson or Georgia or Florida or whatever, and they see one of their own often doing great things as a freshman, they're like, that's it. I want to go be a Gamecock, right? It just immediately solidifies it, right? I think that's why it's so important that we're seeing Goodron get off to such a good start. He's a guy that has to make a lot of plays early because we know Bakari Sellers, phenomenal athlete, right? But he's a little unpolished as a passer. One of the things you have to do as a receiver is get used to that, get comfortable in that environment, build that great rapport. That takes time and effort. That's something a lot of freshmen don't have unless you've got a veteran quarterback that has been a long-term passer in an offensive system. Even the Jeremiah Smiths and the Ryan Williams, we saw it last year with Ohio State and Alabama. They had the highs and the lows because they weren't on the same rapport with their quarterbacks. Gidron getting off to a strong start will allow him to develop that rapport with Sellers, which will hopefully allow him to have a massive impact. And he's got the talent to do it. He's an incredible athlete. He's a great prospect, and I think it has a chance to have a double effect for Carolina. People will see Gidron do amazing things. Kids in the area, recruits, and they'll say, "All right, I want to go to South Carolina because as a freshman, I can come in and star right away. I may go to Georgia and sit for 3 years and then have to transfer, or go to Clemson and then get buried in the depth chart, or get stuck in a bad position, or go to Georgia, go to Florida or whatever, and deal with issues there. But if I go to South Carolina, I know Shane Beamer. He'll give me a chance to play right away because guess what? He did it with my buddy. My buddy earned it, and I'm going to follow in his footsteps. This is one of the ways you can really build long-term success. You can't force it. That's important. If the kid's not ready, the kid's not ready. But by all accounts, he's in a strong position. He's off to a great start, and we talk about it all the time on this channel, right? You can't ruin a career with a slow start and winter workouts your first spring. But the reality is, you can get off to a great start and have a great career with a great early part, right? You have build a lot of momentum through winter workouts that carries over into spring. Build that momentum into summer workouts, carry that momentum into training camp, and then goes right into the regular season. We see it every single year. We hear people in the comment section, well, it's only winter. I get it. But the reality is the freshmen that make big impacts, they start in winter workouts. They start in spring ball, and Gidron is on that track.